Hello there, welcome back to my channel. It is Tuesday, October 1st, which means it is the very next day after the last vlog, if you watched that one. Honestly, today is not a special day.
Nothing special. Baseball cap on backward, baggy pants.
But it is a shorter week, and so I wanted to go ahead and vlog while I had the chance, because also my goal this weekend is to not have to do much school related. Side note, not related at all, and probably no one cares, but my meal prep keeps getting easier and easier. I shared before that I switched over to just putting the frozen veggies and the frozen cauliflower rice right into the container without cooking it. This week, I also used canned chicken, mostly because we already had it and because it's a short week. We actually have lunch being provided for us tomorrow. I'll come back to that. And then Thursday, because we were at PD all day, my team teachers and I are gonna grab lunch out. So I only needed 2 days. So rather than cooking a whole pound of ground turkey, I just split up a can of canned chicken breast and it worked out fine. But I'm gonna take you along with me for the day. I surprisingly have a fair amount of updates I feel like I wanna talk about, even though I just vlogged yesterday. But we're just gonna spend a very average Tuesday together teaching 4th grade. One of the first things I wanted to update you on is my clicker. So I shared about this in my last vlog that I had just gotten a new clicker on Amazon because I wanted something a little bit more convenient to carry around with me. So I got this one that's shaped like a ring. I am obsessed. I should have gotten this so much sooner. First of all, my other clicker was kind of glitchy and I would click to go forward and it would click like 2 or 3 times, which was very frustrating because I add animations to my math slides and sometimes it would reveal the answer, which my students loved. But this one had no issues yesterday. It was super easy just to keep right on my finger because of the ring structure. But if I didn't want it on my finger, I could also just kind of hang it right here on my lanyard because there's the little opening. So I would just hook it on there. And then at the end of the day, I ended up just hooking it here on my document camera, which was super convenient. So I will link that for you again if you are interested. If you're looking for a clicker that you can wear like a ring and then be able to access your slides from around the room, highly recommend. And then not really an update, but more so a confirmation that these magazine divider organizers that I got on Amazon for my students' science and math notebooks, I am so happy with this purchase. And I know at the time it probably seemed ridiculous because I kept switching from one thing to the next, but I finally settled on this. It has worked so well. My students love it. Because they're open, it's very convenient for them to get their notebooks. The tape makes it really easy for them to see which belongs to which class, because blue is for the morning, purple is for the afternoon, green is for science, and pink is for math. They all fit. It has been a phenomenal system. So I'm happy that it ended up working out. It's a little frustrating that it took so long to figure it out, but we are now here. We are living our best life in 4th grade in the organizational realm. And just to kind of show y'all, the reason I have these is because my desks are not like a traditional desk. There's no storage for student materials. And because we have a bunch of workbooks for Eureka Math, I needed somewhere to store their math and science notebooks as well. I prefer for them to stay in the room where students can quickly access them versus them carrying them back and forth. So if you are interested in these organizers, they are collapsible, so they will fold up and they're just like a plastic, material, but I think they come in other quantities versus like 4 sections. I think they might have one that's like 2 or 3, but I will link them for you. Okay, let's talk about my schedule for the week because I mentioned at the beginning that it is a short week and therefore everything's a little bit off. Yesterday, Monday, was a fairly normal day. However, I did have conferences after school, but the good news is I think my team teacher and I have 2 conferences left. We're waiting on one to be scheduled, so there will probably be a 3rd schedule, but it feels good. We've made a lot of progress. I did make a video all about how I was prepping for conferences, and I have a free organizer, so if you're interested in that, I will link the video down below. You can go grab the organizer. But otherwise, yesterday was fairly normal. Now, today, during my planning time, I have to meet with the other science and math teachers for us to do our team collaborative planning. I don't have anything after school, which is a really good feeling. Tomorrow, Wednesday, is my students' last day for the week. So they have no school Thursday and Friday, but tomorrow I do have planning time, which is great. We'll come back to that. I have a staff meeting after school, and then Thursday, teachers are in staff development all day, so we will all be at a different school. I know we have iReady training, and then I think the other PD is on writing, kind of across grade levels, but I'll actually get to sleep in a little bit because I don't need to be there as early, which is exciting. Although it also goes later. So rather than being done at 3 o'clock, it goes until 4. I then have a retirement meeting scheduled because I set up a retirement account, but I'm trying to condense my retirement account from my previous district into this one. So I have that call after school, but then Friday, we have no school. So my district is calling it a U Day. This is the first time they've ever done this, but it essentially was originally going to be, that was a lot of long words. It was originally going to be another staff development day, but then it was given to us as essentially a day to do all of the things, sleep in, book all the appointments, take care of your mental health. So I am very much looking forward to that day, and I'm doing my best to make it so that I can actually utilize that day in that way rather than spending the whole day planning and whatnot. So because it is a short week, especially for my students, they only have 3 days. One of the things I had to kind of shift around was my Golden Emerson, because usually my Golden Emerson keeps the award all week, and on Friday they award it to the next student. But because it is a short week, my Golden Emerson is going to still pick out the next Golden Emerson on Wednesday, but the week after next, we have another semi-short week. Students are off on Monday. We have staff development. That's actually my birthday. But I'm gonna have the Golden Emerson from this week also be the Golden Emerson that week. So they kind of get 2 short weeks. Whoever they pick to be the next Golden Emerson will do next week. And then whoever that student chooses will skip a week, because this week will be that same Golden Emerson, and then the week after will be who they pick. It probably sounded confusing in your brain, but it made sense to me and my students. One of the other things I have to adjust is my planning, because short weeks are great. It means you have to plan less because you're teaching less, but then you also have less opportunities for planning time, which means you kind of have to condense all of your responsibilities into less days. So because I'm trying to plan 5 days of lessons for next week, but I only really have planning time yesterday and tomorrow, it makes it a little bit tricky. However, if you're curious about my lesson planning process, my last video that went up focused on that. Yesterday, I did get a day planned. I think I basically have 2 more days to plan, because next week my students are taking an assessment. I've already created the review for it. So I have 2 more days of lessons to get planned. So my goal is to get those done today, but we shall see. Now, I mentioned that we are having lunch provided tomorrow. That's actually being provided by our administration. I'm very excited. We're having pizza, but this was as a thank you because last week, the math and science teachers had our PLC observed by some members of the district. So originally we were supposed to have that pizza last Friday, but then we ended up postponing it to this Wednesday. So tomorrow I get pizza.
Pizza party! Pizza.
Thursday we get to eat as a team. Friday's a U Day. Really, today is the last, I don't want to call it a normal day. I mean, they're all normal days, but today is the day to knock out the hard stuff, the work stuff, so that we can enjoy the rest of the week. Speaking of Kahoot, my students have been so into it lately. I've used Kahoot for years, but honestly, it got kind of boring just because I don't know, I felt like they weren't really doing much to zhuzh it up, you know what I mean? However, I have to give Kahoot their kudos because they have released this Kahootopia. Now, I got suckered into buying the premium plan. I don't want to talk about it, we'll come back to that. But for now, I'm pretty sure you can try some of this for free. But essentially, you create these islands. So I have a separate island for each class. I'm just gonna click continue with no island. But as they earn points, their island will level up. They get different upgrades for it. But also they've added new Kahoot game options. So for example, yesterday we did a Generation Genius Kahoot. So we have a Generation Genius account through my school, and at the end of the lesson there was a Kahoot, and we did it as this robot run, and it was a lot of fun because my students, yes, they were working, kind of on their own, but it was more collaborative because they were trying to get through the levels together as a class, and they were begging me to play again. Now, they're in luck because we're playing another Kahoot today to review for our science assessment tomorrow. And the reason I got suckered into buying the upgraded plan is because there was a sale that ended yesterday for the last day of September. And because my students enjoyed it so much, I was like, I really want to continue this throughout the year. So this is going to be the year of Kahoot. Now, I did buy this out of my own money. I could get reimbursed from my school because we have an allotment of money and I have not used mine yet. But if you are a teacher, definitely reach out to your school or district first before you pay out of pocket, and then see if you can even get donations and things so you don't have to buy it. Don't be a sucker like I was. But I do think it's worth it because, like I said, my students really, really love it. And then there are all of these different games and themes and things that we'll get to try out. It'll keep things fresh and new, but it's the things that we do for those that we love. And right now, those that I love are my students, and so yeah, I bought the plan. It's all fine. I need to hold myself accountable and sit here and get some lesson planning done. As I mentioned, my goal is to get those last 2 lessons for next week planned out because then I have some fun things that I get to work on. We're gonna chat about that at the end because the vlog is coming on it, but I think it's gonna be probably one of your favorite videos of the year. It's gonna be one of my favorite experiences of the year. I'm very excited. I need to get ready for the day, and then we'll check in after. I'll let you know how it went. We have reached the end of our science unit all about matter, and because we are taking our assessment tomorrow, that means I need to take down our word wall. And my students were so upset, not that it's being taken down before the assessment, they're just upset because we've worked so hard on it. And they're like, wait, you mean we're taking it down? I said, yes. They begged me to take pictures, which I did. But they also were like, wait, are we gonna do another one? And I said, yep, for the next unit. So overall, I've actually really enjoyed creating these interactive word walls. This is all new to me. I've never done anything like this before, but here is kind of your final view of it. So we had, definitions, we had images. As much as possible, I tried to put up artifacts from what we did in class. I tried to color code just using colored markers. So I kept this little bucket right here with the blue tape where I would use that to attach things to the board. And then I had various colored markers. So it was nice and easy access. Now, some of the items did not stay up very well. This cup at one point was taped there, but it came off. It's fine. We had to tape the balloon multiple times, but using the baggies in order to hold items worked really, really well. And then, y'all, I cannot believe in one of my last vlogs when I said I was gonna tape the magnet to the board. It's magnetic, I don't need to tape it. But overall, really, really enjoyed building this. And it's a work in progress. I mean, this is better than the one I did for the first unit. And I have a feeling that the next one will be even better than this one. So I'm gonna take it all down. I already got my pictures, it's all good. But I'm gonna go ahead and get kind of the bare bones structure set up for our next unit. I can't believe I'm showing this on the internet, but here is proof that I am awful at bubble letters and I am never trying that again. I either need to print them out, which would be fine because I can reuse them from year to year, or just use regular writing because the amount of time this took me, I tried that S about 25 times. That was the best that I came up with, and it's still wonky and small. And it's fine. I had some flashbacks though to middle school when I felt like everyone else could do bubble letters except for me. It's fine, I'm not mad about it. But our next unit is all about mixtures and solutions. So the overarching area is gonna be dedicated to mixtures. Within that, there will kind of be a little pocket where we record information about solutions. At the very end, we're gonna touch on conservation of matter. And then this little structure for our CER, which stands for Claim Evidence Reasoning, this is actually gonna stay up for every unit because we write a CER, which basically ends up being about a paragraph, almost every single week. So this will be a spot where we can kind of jot down our thinking and have, our thoughts ready to go. But is it perfect? No. Will I probably end up erasing mixtures and rewriting it? Yes. But for now, it's good enough. And now I have an absolute hot mess of a back table. So let's chit chat about the day while I get this put away. I'm a poet and didn't know it. I can make it rhyme anytime.
Rhymes with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Rhyming.
Overall, today was a pretty good day. In fact, at the end of the day, one of my students had gotten a sticker as a prize in the Switch class, so in her reading class, and there are these sunflowers, and she said, Mrs. Emerson, I want you to have this because you remind me of a sunflower. Stop, my heart. I'm gonna put this up on my fridge. So, I don't have anything notable to share. I need to take this home and wash it, but tomorrow we are doing a second step lesson that we tried to start today and quickly had to abort mission because I realized, oh, I should have read this ahead of time. We need cups and rubber bands, and I have none of those prepared because I'm such a great teacher. But that's the reality. Sometimes you figure it out as you go. So I told my students we would do it tomorrow. Essentially, oh, these cups have numbers on them. Some of them do, some of them don't. That's fine. They're gonna work in groups to do a cup stacking activity. You've probably seen this before, but essentially they work in groups. So I'm gonna have teams of 4. I'll probably have one team of 3, but they will get this rubber band. So this is my team of 3. Let me show you the team of 4. And I have so gracefully just kind of attached rubber bands. So there's one main rubber band like in the middle, and then I have 4 other rubber bands tied onto it. So each student gets to hold one of the rubber bands on the outside, and they have to stretch it in order to put it around the cups. And then they use that teamwork. It's really hard when it's by yourself. Teamwork makes the dream work. Okay, so they have to use it to stack the cups. And this is part of second step. We're talking about goal setting. So they're gonna set a goal as a team. We're gonna stop at the halfway point. They're gonna evaluate their progress, make a plan, all that fun stuff. So I got those ready to go for tomorrow. I need to leave those out. I have a lot of science materials that I now need to put away, but because we are taking our assessment tomorrow, this is probably something I can do then. This is a pair of student scissors that I need to give back to them. I'm gonna hold on to these pictures to use again next year. Same thing with like the baggies where I stored the magnetic and non-magnetic objects. This is all gonna get used next year. So I'm gonna make sure I store that away in a neat and orderly fashion. And then in terms of what I got done today, I did get a lot done, just not necessarily the things I was originally planning on getting done. For example, right before our math and science planning, we got an email. It's basically like a curriculum update. And in that curriculum update, we had a new science compliance module that we had to complete. So, at the beginning of the year, all those like safety modules that you have to do, we had a new one of those for science. So we went ahead and got that done kind of as a team during that planning time. Like we all sat and did our own, but we were in each other's company. That way we could make sure everyone was on the same page, got it done. And then we also got released a new compliance set of modules. We did the beginning of the year ones, like the bloodborne pathogens and all of those, but we had a second set that just released today. So I was able to get all of that done, which that was not originally on my planning bingo card, but we got it done. So still progress, just not the initial things that I was planning on getting done. But I did also get a little bit of grading done. My students had a graded assignment in math, and after school, I sat and got that graded. That way, tomorrow, I can work with any students who I need to reteach. I like to do it as quickly as possible. I'm sorry, I just glanced up at my word wall and that S is driving me crazy. Don't worry about it, Michelle. Progress over perfection. So I feel good about that. I'm up to date on grading. Tomorrow, because they're taking their science assessment, I will have to grade that, but they're taking it digitally through their online textbook, which means on Thursday, when I go to the staff development, I will already have my laptop. I can grade that in those little pockets of time. I usually get to PDs and things early so I can sit and grade those on my laptop while I wait for it to begin. So that's something that I can kind of put on the back burner until then. I got one lesson planned out of the 2. Now, I might spend a little bit of time tonight knocking out that other lesson, but otherwise, I also will have some time tomorrow. So it's all good. I did mention, however, something that I'm excited about that will be coming up in one of my next videos, and that is our first transformation room of the year. So if you've been around for a while, I have done room transformations ever since I taught 2nd grade. I did a football one, I did a military one, I did the math bakery, and it's so much fun because it's something different and it's engaging for students, but it also is a lot to prepare, putting up all the materials in the room, and they don't have to be super fancy, but when you're like me, hi, Michelle, I'm a perfectionist, you end up kind of going overboard. And so it's not something that's sustainable to do all the time, but I'm so excited because my school actually has a transformation room that the PTA and parent volunteers set up. We get 4 different setups per year, so basically 1 per quarter, and then all of the classes in the school get to go and utilize the space for lessons. And we get to go to the transformation room next week. So I'm in the midst of starting to plan a math lesson that all of the math teachers in 4th grade can use when they go, and I can't wait to try it out. So stay tuned because that vlog is coming. I'm gonna take you behind the scenes. I'm gonna show you the transformation room. I'm gonna show you the lesson that we're doing, and I'm excited to be able to share that with you. But for now, if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss any future videos, you know, like the transformation room coming your way. As always, thank you for watching. I love you so much. Don't forget to put your positive pants on, and I will catch you in the next one.